It's Patio Side Chats with Fernando Martinez from Chaparral Pavers with tips and advice on landscaping and gardening. Here's Fernando Martinez.
Yes, I am. Hello, and welcome. Come on in, sit down, relax. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming into the patio here with me and listening to my advice. I love to share my knowledge with you in this community of ours, our landscape community that we have here on the Central Coast, but especially you. Thanks for listening today. I appreciate it. So today's topic is going to be about how to get an estimate. And the reason I want to talk about this, it's come up several times. And in fact, in the last month or so, as I go on these estimates, I think about them all the time. I really try to analyze what is that process of a customer. You want a service done, whatever the service is. It might be landscaping, it might be something else. But I don't think there's any manual out there, or there's no video that says, here's how you get an estimate for work done. So I wanted to go through that process because I want you to have the best experience when you call for your free estimate. And that's another thing. Like people used to charge for estimates anymore. Everybody does free estimates. You kind of have to. And it makes sense. You don't want to pay somebody to come out and give you some price or talk about some service you may or may not want to do. So the free estimate, that experience is something that's the beginning of the project. So every project you do starts out with this process. So how do you want that to go? And that's really the question. I'm sure it's kind of a rhetorical, obviously, question, because everyone would want it to go really good, but that's different in everyone's eyes. So I want to go through that and have you be able to make a decision of how you want that estimate to go before you pick up the phone and call that contractor, whoever it might be, or hopefully, multiple contractors to get these free estimates. What is the best way to get the most out of your time? Because you're going to be spending time out there and you're going to have an experience, and why not have it be a great one? So how to prepare for that estimate, thinking about the budget, which is absolutely huge. Don't be one of these, I don't know what the budget, any budget. I haven't even thought about what we want to spend, and you're already calling somebody out there. So that is major. We're going to talk about that and how to calculate that and see what, to make it. Basically, the whole idea is to get what you want in the way that you want it for the price that you want, and with the right guy, the right contractor to do that job for you. So that's why I think it's super, super important. And again, it goes across multiple trades. Are they licensed for the work that they're supposed to do? Did you check, the reviews online, websites, looking for clues? I want to talk about the clues you can get while the contractor's there. They're going to give you a lot of clues as to whether you would want to work with them or not. So I want to talk about that and go through that with you. So let's start with the preparation. How you want the estimate to go, I think really somewhat, yes, depends on the contractor that's coming over, how organized and prepared they are. But also, if you're organized and prepared on your end, it's going to be really obvious whether the contractor's or not on their end. And when both of those things match and you've got everything flowing, that's just going to give you a green light. Hey, this is the guy I want to go with. This is the work we want done. They're going to do a good job, and I'm going to have a great experience. And that, at the end of the day, is exactly what I want for you. I want it for all my clients. I want it for myself. I want to go out. The more prepared the potential client is for me when I go out, the more I want that job, really. And so think about it from the contractor side as well. What are they looking for in a customer? If you're trying to attract the best talent and get the best job, you want to make sure that you have something there that they're going to want or fight over or be competing to give you the best price because they really want to work there and do that job for you. that's a great place to be in. It puts you in a place of power, and it really helps you make that decision. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's hard to know who to choose. Don't just pick the first person that showed up or they answered the phone, and so we're going to go with this guy or, whatever. I mean, that's part of it, and we're going to talk about the clues. But how to prepare is what I want you to do is make a list. So write out and write it down, make a note in your phone, jot it down, whatever. It's better to do it, I think, in the computer and print it out and really walk through. Let's say it's a landscaping job and you go outside and you want, I want sprinkler work done. I want new plantings. I want sod removed, and I want pavers here. And then make that list out and say, okay, I want a price for this. And that way, if you call 3 different contractors and you get 3 different prices, you'll know, because you're instructing them to all bid this list that I have of what I want. Now, I'm not saying, be closed to this can only be, this is what I want, and I don't know what I want, or I don't know how to design. The contractor should know how to design. They should tell me, what they're going to do and give me the price for that. But you're going to end up getting 3 completely different bids doing it that way. And it's going to be extremely hard to make a decision unless you've just got money to burn and no problem. Then whoever comes in the highest, and I like his ideas, hire that guy. If that works for you, great. Or you're all about price and it's low bid. Whoever comes in the lowest, I don't care what the ideas are. That's going to be for some people. I get it. I'm talking about the rest of us here in the middle that want the best bang for our buck. We want a high quality product, and we want to have a great experience. We want the job to, flow and turn out at the end. I'm going to give this contractor a large amount of money, small amount of money, whatever. If it's a few $1,000s, that's still a lot of money. If it's tens of thousands of dollars, this is even more important, what I'm talking about, to really get an idea of who you want to hire, who you want to work with. So making that list, I think, is very important because you're able to get the same things across the board. Now, they might be using different materials within that. You say lighting, ask them, how many lights are you bidding in? What's the brand name of the lights? What's the warranty on the lights? There will be a price difference a little bit there, but it shouldn't be huge, and it shouldn't be all over the map. So ask questions and make notes during the estimate of what the answers are. And it's hard to remember. I do interviews to get new employees, and I can do 3 interviews in a day, and then I'm like thinking back, like, what did that guy say, or how was he presenting himself, or who did I really want to hire to work for me? It's kind of a similar process. I have my sheet. I ask all 3 of them all the same questions. I make all the notes. Also, when I hire other contractors for my house, long time ago, but I had my house painted, and I got 3 different estimates from 3 different painters. I had my little list. I handed it to them. Right when they came there, I said, here's what I want. This is the areas I want painted, the fascia boards, the stucco, this trim, or we want this 2 different colors, whatever it is. I want it, all caulking on all the fascia boards where the cracks were. So I knew that each one of the contractors were bidding in the caulking. Each one was bidding in painting the fascia boards and the house. And so it was a really apples to apples comparison. And of course, stay open to ideas. If a contractor comes up and says something that you weren't expecting, or a new idea or something, that's great. And if that's going to cost money, figure that in and say, okay, well, everyone's going to be bidding these items. Can you give me a price for these? And then your idea, if they want to add that on as a secondary bid or another price, including their idea, or if you're fine with it knowing that lump sum is going to include more than what's on your list. So anyway, this is all gray area. There's no hard line, right way of doing it. There's no wrong way, essentially. But I just want you to have a really good experience, and I want you to have the best chance of having that. So the budget, it's absolutely huge. You have to have a budget. You have to think of a budget and think about what you want to spend for the area, even if you have no idea what things cost. And by the way, we have the internet now, so there's really no excuse for not knowing what things cost completely. You should be able to get an idea. So if you do a little bit of research online, and I know I'm giving you homework, but this is your project and it's your money that you're going to be spending. So the smarter you are and the more savvy you are on what things cost, figure it out. And I'm not talking about just the materials, because if you go and you figure out how much the materials cost, that's really not going to give you an idea of what it's going to cost to install that. There's going to be labor, there's going to be travel time, there's going to be demo expenses, there's going to be excavation, the green waste. The companies have to make profit. There's overhead, fuel, trucks, trailers, all the kinds of stuff that gets added in there. So, and depending on what it is and how many people it's required to install that product, it's some products are pretty straightforward as far as bidding. Other ones, the materials are really high, the labor's low. So finding out how much the materials cost doesn't give you a complete picture. What you really want to try to find out is what people are charging for it installed and in your area, if you can find it. If anything that's hard to do is kind of finding it in the area that we're in. A lot of times I'll look up things of what things should cost, and they'll be on the East Coast or I'll be in a big city somewhere, and it doesn't always apply right here to the Central Coast. But if you can find out some information on that, or at least it'll get you in the ballpark of where things should be, or it should give you a range. So if you know, and you can measure out, like sometimes if you don't know, like I want a paver patio, and then you look up how much the paver patios cost, and you're trying to find out, well, it says, X per square foot or something price. How you get square feet, length times width, go out there, kind of get an idea for the area, get some square footages. When I go to an estimate, the customer has a square footage, they have an idea what things cost, they've got a budget in mind. Those estimates flow, and they're very simple. They don't take a whole lot of time. I immediately know whether we're in the running or not, because when I give an estimate, it's ballpark right there while I'm talking to you at the appointment, if not the exact price. So it doesn't take me long to bid these jobs and to give the customer an understanding of what it's going to take to do it and to do it right, and to make sure we're a good match, because not every company is going to be a good match for every job that's out there, of course. So what you're looking for is the right contractor for the right job. So definitely make a list, have a budget in mind, get 3 bids, plan on getting 3 bids at least. And if you're doing that, it's going to take some time. It's going to take coordination, phone calls, communication. It's call me back at this number, setting dates and times and going through that. So it might as well be, really good experience and efficient. And it should really make your decision easy to go with who you want to hire. Another thing is check their website. Look at the pictures. Do you see something that you would want for your yard in those photos on that website? If they don't have a website, I mean, that's a clue there. But if they should have, most contractors, I think, have websites, in the world that we live in. So then there should be pictures. Of course, there's going to be a portfolio. I don't know why else you'd even have a website if you didn't have a portfolio on there. And when you see what you like, you can even print them out. I've had customers, they print out, like I saw this on your website, here's the sheet of paper, here's the picture, this is what I'm thinking. Oh my gosh, that's so simple now for me to say, okay, that's going to cost this much for you, personalized to your job. We're not going to do this aspect of it or whatever. So if you see what you like on their website, that's one of the contractors you're going to get a price from. If you don't see anything like what you want on their website, don't call them and get them over there and try to get a price from them, because it's not going to be a good experience. If they did what you wanted, and there would be a picture of that on their website. So keep that in mind. It can go both ways. If You see things that don't look nice, they don't pop, they don't have any pizzazz. I mean, when you're taking photographs of something and you're putting them into a portfolio, these are supposed to be the best of your work. So if you don't see anything in there that you like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to call them and get them over and take the time and meet them, wait for them to get you a price back or whatever. So if you don't even look at their website or see any of the pictures before you call them, you're really flying blind. You're just calling whoever, flip open the phone book and, call down the row, go by alphabetical order. I mean, to me, that just doesn't make sense, especially we have the internet now. There should be able to find a Facebook account. You should be able to see, videos or pictures, and check the reviews. Why would you waste your time calling somebody and meeting them at your house and thinking you're going to have this great experience if they've got a bunch of bad reviews online? They're right there for you. So check out their website. Find something on their website that's like what you want. Check the reviews on all the different sites. I personally like going and finding the contractors myself. I don't necessarily like the services of the whatever advisor or somebody's list or whatever, where they tell you, here's the contractors for you. Because, I mean, how do they know what type of job you want, what types of materials you're planning on using, and do those professionals actually provide that service, or it just says it in their name, or they're just randomly picking them, or whoever's giving them the most money is who they're going to send to you? I mean, I don't know. It's a way of doing it, but I don't know that it's necessarily the best way. I would now Yelp I like, because they're not sending you anything, and I'm not Yelp doesn't advertise on this show. They don't sponsor me or anything. I don't get any money, but I like Yelp because you can look yourself on there. You can see the different reviews. You can see what the contractors do. You can get to their website from there and look at that. You can see the phone number. You can see their address, where they're located, and you can make an educated decision on who you would want to even get an estimate from. And once you find 3 contractors, because what we're talking about here is not going to be simple and easy. It's definitely going to take some effort and time, but I think it's well worth it, especially if you're doing a big project, to really dive into who would you want to hire based on their image online, the website and reviews and all this stuff. Then when you see, again, this is before you make the phone call. That's what this show is about, really, is preparing you. Check their contractor's license is absolutely 100% going to be on their website. It's going to be on their Yelp, whatever. And I'm not talking about a business license from the city, their driver's license, or whatever some of these guys put out there. It has to be a state contractor's license. And it'll have like a letter and a number, like a C27 or C8 or whatever. That's the trade contractor licenses. You can type that number in cslb.com. I know I say it a lot on this show, but I really want you to use that website, cslb.com. It stands for California State License Board.com, and type in the number. It takes 2 minutes. You type it in. It's either a valid license or it's not a valid license, and they either have workers' comp insurance or they don't, and it says it on there. And then you know that they've passed a test to say they're a contractor, which really isn't saying a lot, but it's at least they did that, and they're a licensed contractor. They legally can do that job for you, and they have insurance. So get that crossed off the list ahead of time, and then pick up the phone and then call and then hand them, those people, your list. And oh my goodness, you're going to have a such better experience than if you hadn't done that. And believe me, it works on both sides, and it will help you make that decision. And that's the key here, is to make the decision of who to hire. Easy. It makes it a simple decision for you. And I did promise you we're going to talk about clues, and I want to do that right after the break here. Check us out on YouTube. You can find this show or any of our shows on YouTube. Just go through them and take your time and listen to them at your leisure. You can always go to our website, ilovetokomehome.com. Oh, when you go to YouTube, make sure you just type in Chaparral Pavers. It's easy. And we'll see you on the other side of the break. All right, thanks.
You're listening to Patio Side Chats with Fernando Martinez from Chaparral Pavers on California's Central Coast. Here on 1240 AM and 99.5 FM, KSMA.
Chaparral Pavers. ILoveToComeHome.com. Imagine the flickering flames and warmth of a fire pit, soothing sounds of trickling water, decorative lighting, highlighting your landscape at dusk. Driveways and patios, not only functional, but a work of art. This is what Chaparral Pavers does for your landscape lifestyle. You'll love to come home. Chaparral Pavers. Visit us now at ILoveToComeHome.com.
If you're thinking about installing a new paver patio or paver driveway, check out Chaparral Pavers online at ILoveToComeHome.com. Serving the Central Coast since 2001, Chaparral Pavers will work with you to get it right and complete the job to your specifications, as customer service is king at Chaparral Pavers. Paver driveways are stylish and durable and guaranteed to never crack. If your old concrete driveway or entryway is a hazardous cracking mess, it's time to call Chaparral Pavers. Go to their website, ILoveToComeHome.com. You'll find all the information you need. Check out photographs of past installations and reviews from Central Coast residents who have used Chaparral Pavers. And don't forget, all installations are guaranteed for the life of your home. So check out Chaparral Pavers online at ILoveToComeHome.com. Chaparral Pavers, they'll make you love to come home. Now, back to Patio Side Chats with Fernando Martinez from Chaparral Pavers on KSMA.
And we're back. Okay, we are talking about how to get an estimate. It's a very, very important process. It's actually the first thing that you do before you get any work done on your house. So it's very, very important. And what we were talking about is making a list, writing down everything that you can think of exactly what you want done. You do want to stay open to ideas as the contractors come in, you get those prices, but at least if you can have everyone bid that list first, and they can do it in their own way, and there can be slightly different materials, and there are going to be slightly different prices, but it's at least it's not going to be all over the map. It's going to be as close to apples comparison as you can get. You're going to have a budget in mind, which is absolutely huge. You have to have that. You don't have to tell the contractor what your budget is immediately, and I get that. You know, you kind of want to, you don't want to show your hand, right away necessarily, but have that number in mind, and once get a number out of them. Tell them, what do you think ballpark wise this is going to cost? And once they give you a ballpark idea, they'll usually give you a range. That's what I would do. I would say, okay, well, this job here is going to be between, let's say, 10 to 15,000, depending on, which pavers you want to go with, whether you want to do lighting or you don't want to do lighting. And then you can come back and say, well, my budget is 12,000. What can I get for that? And then I can steer that estimate towards the 12,000 range. And then I know, so well, for 12,000, we don't have to do lights, but I can give you, we have enough room to do plants and the pavers and the irrigation, the bark, whatever. So if you have that number in mind after they've given you a price or a number, then I think that's fine. You can tell them that. Some people just come right out and say, here's my budget, and they're getting multiple estimates, and I want the best bang for my buck. Here's my list. You don't have to come from fear. I'm not going to tell you what my number is, because you're educated. You're aware of what things cost. You know what the price should approximately be. And by getting the multiple bids from legitimate companies, and that's the thing. That's why I'm always saying about the hiring the contractor, checking the license number, because if someone's not a licensed contractor and they don't have insurance, and, it's either a fly-by-night company or they haven't taken the time to do that, or maybe it's a gardener who's, trying to do landscaping that might be slightly out of what they do normally, then your prices are going to be dramatically different. And I think in most cases, you're going to get what you pay for. But if you get 3 legitimate contractors and price on the same list, you're going to be real close to have an understanding of what that job should take. And you're going to have the best chance of having a great experience. And that's the trick, because sometimes that price can be alluring. Ooh, he's going to do it for real cheap, or this guy's going to do it on the side, or he's going to come on the weekends. And that all sounds great until you get into the job and it's not done the way you thought. The quality of the work isn't there. It's taken way longer. He didn't show up, or, they didn't finish the job. And there's a lot of bad things can happen. So anyway, I wanted to talk about clues a little bit. So when you're in this estimate, now you've done your homework and you've got your list and you're interviewing essentially these contractors for your job, you want to think about, who am I going to be able to work with? So we did talk about the phone call thing. When you call them, they answered the phone, or they called me back within, this time. That's one clue. Are they confident in what they're talking about? Are they hesitant to give me a price, or do they feel unsure about a certain product but confident in other areas? You can hire some contractors for some things and then hire somebody else to do a different thing that might be more their forte. Hire multiple contractors. In some cases, that could be the answer. Like if the budget isn't there for me and I want to do everything for them, and there's some, my budget's half of what you're telling me, I can say, well, let us do the hard stuff. We'll put in the pavers, we'll put in the retaining wall, and then have your gardener come back and he can lay sod. Maybe he knows how to do sprinkler work. And if you get a bid from him and he's very confident on sprinklers and sod and grading, great. Have him do that. Have another contractor do hardscape or whatever. Or maybe I don't like doing pergolas, or we're not professional pergola installers and somebody else is, or maybe even does woodworking only. Great. Get them to do that. So there's a lot of ways of doing this and getting those clues. Do they really know the product? Are they saying the product names? Are they listing out colors, this styles, like it's just rolling off their tongue? Or are they hesitant or looking in the catalog, or they're saying stuff like this one or that one? And how long does it take you to get your estimate? Did they tell you while they were there? Did they wait 2 weeks to come back? It really comes down to confidence and how confident you are in their abilities. And that is going to give you the best chance of getting a great contractor. So good luck out there with your jobs. Check out our website, ilovetocomehome.com, and we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
This has been Patio Side Chats with Fernando Martinez from Chaparral Pavers. Go to ilovetocomehome.com to find out more, or call 805-588-6917. And be sure and tune in next week at this same time for Patio Side Chats here on KSMA.